We ran into a Coliseum. June 14th, we're in Pula. And we're walking around and here's this giant Roman Coliseum. This is not the entrance, we gotta go up and walk around. It's pretty incredible. Unbelievable to think that what went on in this place. All these little rooms on the bottom. It's much bigger than I imagined the Colosseum would be. It's gigantic. Looks like this is an entrance over here. Wow. Here we are inside the Colosseum. This is 2,000 years old. It's used for gladiator fights from 100 AD to 500 AD. Oh, okay, from the 1st century to the 5th century, so it's from the 0 AD to 500 or 600 AD. But this is where the gladiators are standing when they had a fight, and they're surrounded by people. Yeah, it is intact. There's one section that's rebuilt. Yeah, and the top, and it's the largest one is in Rome. This is, I guess, the 6th largest, but it's enormous. To imagine being down here when you have to fight to the death. It's pretty incredible. Fight off lions. God. Huh. This is where the lions were kept. And they were brought in. They're brought in through this gate ceremoniously. This is the ceremoniously gate where they're brought into the arena. Right through here. They were kept, the lions were kept over here.
Now reached the original main entrance. It was through these doors that ceremonial processions entered and wild beasts were taken in before the start of the game. To the left and right of the main entrance were rooms where the animals were kept.
This is the main entrance.
These rooms were connected to other parts of the arena by narrow underground passages.
So they were stored here.
Hunting of wild beasts, including lions, panthers, bears, and bulls, was one of the most popular games staged at the arena. Fights between wild animals were also popular amusements during Roman times, and hunting parties roamed the vast empire and beyond to capture beasts for the entertainment of the emperors and the wealthy classes, bringing exotic and previously unknown beasts to Rome. Games held in this arena included fights between wild animals as well as contests between gladiators and wild beasts. These contests often served as public executions of convicted criminals and early Christians. In these cases, the convicted had little or no means of defense against the animals, who brutally dismembered them. entertainments were enhanced with elaborate costumes and sets, which gave the contest the appearance of a theatrical performance, often based on mythological or historical events.
This is the corridor where the people came in and went to your seats according to rank. Like the best seats were down at the bottom, of course, just like in today's middle center. The emperor had his own box, of course. And then all of these people were kind of sort of middle upper class. Then you got the other next class up went through here and sat on the second tier, and then the common people were all the way up on top, and they had a stand. They had railings where they can stand.
The seats were made from finely hewn stone blocks, laid on natural or man-made foundations. The stone steps were divided into seats 38 centimeters wide, on which were often carved the names or initials of the renter. We now invite you to sit and rest on the steps, as spectators did in Roman times, while you hear the story of the gladiators and their games. Gladiators were named after the short sword, or gladius, they carried. These fighters were usually prisoners of war, convicted criminals, rebels, and others who did not enjoy the privileges of Roman citizenship. Gladiators lived in groups and were trained by instructors in special schools. These schools were owned either by the state or by wealthy private citizens. Many gladiators were desperate to escape their sad predicament in any way possible, and special military guards were assigned to watch over the gladiators to prevent their rebellion or flight. The most famous rebellion was led by Spartacus, who commanded an army of 70,000 slaves and peasants against the empire in the year 79 BC. The rebellion was crushed only with the utmost efforts of the Roman state. The expanding empire provided an ever-increasing supply of prisoners of war who were forced to become gladiators, and over time the games developed to grand proportions. From newly conquered territories, new weapons, costumes, and fighting techniques also came to Rome. Gladiators fought in the costume and military style typical of their conquered homeland. Gladiator games are believed to have begun among the Etruscans as a ritual that replaced human sacrifice in remembrance of the dead. By the 1st century before Christ, these contests had acquired an atmosphere of public entertainment. They were festive occasions staged during holidays, temple consecrations, memorials of military victories, the inaugurations of official dignitaries, and other occasions. During the Roman Empire, gladiator contests were most often held in honor of the emperor and were run entirely by the state. Before the start of each contest, the gladiators were paraded around the arena in festive processions. Their somber greeting is remembered to this day. Hail Caesar! We who are about to die salute you. An announcement of the schedule of games and an inspection of the weapons followed. The contest began with simulated fights, choreographed in rhythm and using harmless stage weapons. After these introductory amusements, the real fights, with their deadly weapons and fatal conclusions, were announced with trumpets. Gladiators fought with many different types of weapons in a variety of military styles and costumes. Usually they were armed with a short sword and a lance, and were protected by a helmet and a shield. Some gladiators fought with a net, trident, and short sword, or with 2 swords, or with lances alone. Gladiators also fought in chariots and on horseback. The earliest games were fought in pairs, later in small groups. Gladiators who were reluctant to fight or who appeared cowardly were prodded with whips and red-hot iron bars. If a wounded gladiator collapsed during a fight, He would be prodded with red-hot iron to determine whether he was really dead. Some lucky gladiators who were wounded or exhausted from fighting could have their lives spared by the emperor or the public. Winning gladiators who killed their human or animal opponents were rewarded with palms, wreaths, or cash prizes. Gladiator contests continued in the Western Roman Empire until the 5th century, when they were prohibited by imperial decrees in the years 404 and 423. Passageway was a terrace with seats for prominent spectators. Vertical iron bars protected the spectators from the beasts used in the contests. Private boxes for the highest dignitaries were probably located at the ends of the shorter axis of the arena. If you look to your left, you will see at the edge of the arena a large rectangular opening. This is the end of an underground passage that led out of the arena under the spectator area and the northeastern tower. This passage probably led to the nearby gladiator school, and it was through this passage that dead and wounded gladiators were carried out. In its day, the Pula amphitheater could seat more than 23,000 spectators who came from all over the southern and western parts of Istria. While gladiator contests and fights with wild beasts were held here as in amphitheaters throughout the Roman Empire, naval battles are not believed to have been staged here as in some Roman arenas. These naval contests were much simpler to organize
This is where the
bays of
gladiators
southern
came
and western
through.
Istria, where no building was necessary.
Through here.
We now invite you to walk across the arena and follow
This must have been a box. This went up further into a box. first-class gladiator was usually valued at 5,000 sestertia, and the cost of producing a single contest was about 30,000 sestertia. However, the price of a single outstanding gladiator could reach 15,000 sestertia, and the cost of the more elaborate games was known to reach as high as 200,000 sestertia. For comparison, in the time of Augustus Caesar, an ordinary soldier was paid 900 sestertia per year, and a centurion commander 15,000 sestertia per year. Elite units of the Praetorian Guard earned about 3,000 sestertia, 5 times less than the best gladiators. This shows how highly the Romans valued their gladiator contests. Cool. We have a whole bunch of Roman ruins in this town. You can go in here. Check it out. Very strange scene here. We have the Roman temple, and in the background you get this giant oil rig, floating oil rig that they're going to tow out to sea. Everyone's speaking Italian here. This is like being in Italy, actually. All the architecture looks Italian. This was ruled by Venetians. And the downtown has got all kinds of Roman ruins and monuments. All those yellow markers are all Roman sites. So we're going to tour that. Take a little walking tour. Well, something's going on. They're having a, boy, it looks like they're trying to simulate life as it was back then. Hiring people to walk around. Yeah, this is the Resistki mosaic. Mosaic from the Roman times. I don't know what date.
There's just like an office building next to it.
Yeah, it's so weird. They got these handwritten signs.
There's a dentist's office.
You got a dentist's office. You got to go through a parking lot, and all of a sudden you come to this basement structure with this original Roman mosaic. That is cool. Yeah. Here's where the Roman mosaic is. They probably were excavating and building something, and they found it, and then now they restored it. But this is how you got to get there. Very strange. And they got this handwritten sign to the mosaic. I think they'd have a little more touristy flair to this. Here's some Roman ruins of a small theater and parking area. So they integrate their ruins into the town. So you got your small theater. And you got your parking area. Yeah, they're there's some archways over here. It looks like it's like some empty lot. Just have to have some Roman ruins on it. Bunch of stones, old stones laying around. Look at this. There's some Roman columns here just hanging out. This should be in the museum somewhere. can't put every damn column in a museum. Look at this. Look at this carved stonework. It's pretty incredible. They just let this stuff lay around like this. I'm surprised it's not all gone. There's no fences or no protection or anything. Huh. Pretty amazing. You want a stone from Roman times?
You know, all the stones are from Roman times.
Yeah, all the stones. Do you want a cut stone from Roman times?
Glass, lots of broken glass here. Oh, those are intact.
Intact Roman arch. Romans were pretty clever with those arches.
This is a toilet hole. Would be considered pee.
Just held up by their own weight. Pea spot. Here's another Roman arch. Look at this, how long this lasted. Just from the design of it, you know. The way they fit the stones together.
Beautiful.
With the keystone. Pretty amazing. And it's not one stone, it's a bunch of stones put together in an arch. It's very interesting. Yeah, you could see that was the front of it probably with all those pillars. Pretty. Yeah. Ugh. Yuck.
Big man.
All of these old walls. Here's the top of the arch. Climbing up that. It's nice and cool up here. You got a view? Looks like they built a fortress on top of this hill by the theater down here. There was some talk about using some of the Collisium stones for building a fortress. I don't know if this is it or not. Looks like it's got a moat. Is that on the map at all? It's a fort. Got a moat and everything. We got some gates for tourist safety.
He's walking around all this hay. He wants a cigarette.
He wants a cigarette.
You got a light? You got a light?
We got tourist safety rigs. Use your plastic bags. Wow. Nice view. Did you go up this path, Patrice? I suppose you could get to this fort somehow, but not from this direction. Nice view. This is quite a commercial port they have here. Looks like they're building a ship, see it? Or dry dock. Either that or repairing one. Cannons.
That doesn't bother us so much as being swarmed by modern life.
This little garden is really nice.
Beautiful.
They got, what do they got there? Zucchini,
Well, they've got a
tomatoes,
roses,
roses.
hedge of roses, and it looks like lots of lettuce and tomatoes, and those could be kohlrabis going there. Lots of flowers.
They got a palm tree.
Some sort of squash growing in there.
That could be a, I don't know what kind of, could be a fruit tree right there. Very nice little old house with a garden overlooking the port. This port is really industrial. Look at the size of these cranes, though. Look how high that crane goes up.
There's a giant shipping container in the middle.
Oh my God.
And it's empty because it's sitting way up in the water.
Huh. Yeah, that there's a giant boat
But
right there.
it doesn't seem like there's infrastructure to get anything out of here.
Well, the boats
There's
take it
There's
out.
like some ready little road. What do they do with it?
I don't know.
I don't see any place for like trucks to come in. I'd say it doesn't look like a shipping entry in and out kind of port. It looks more like a fix the boat kind of port.
Yeah, it could be they come in here and they fix their boats. There's a place where it looks like they store yachts over there, wrapped up in white plastic. Yeah, you may be right. Maybe they come here to work on the boats.
You know how it's like if there's a port and they're unloading the ships, they have to have a way to stage everything and get everything
Right,
out. They don't
right.
have any of that here.
Unless we're missing it's some
No,
highway.
I can see it. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Fixing his hose. He needs
Fixing his hose. Yeah, one of those shrinking hoses. There's a church with Franciscan monastery with all the cranes in the background. Giant oil rig. There's the chimney roof. More chimney roofs. These gardens are really pleasant. A lot of rose gardens. Nice palm tree. Here's the twin gates of Pula. Twin Roman gates. And here we got the ice cream bar gate. Gate number 1. Here's the last gate. They got a little orgy thing set up here. That's right.
Look at they doing that back and out.
They're doing the reenactment. They got a wine and fruit. We're having some coffee at the gate. What the is this? But look at this, civilization just grew up around this Roman gate 600 years ago or so. The town's got a real Italian influence to it. Now the Roman gate is thousands of years old, not 500 years old. Thousands of years of civilization development. And here's where we are. Playing bossa nova. Through the gate of 1,000 steps. A million steps, 10 million steps. Oh no, we got to get away from this music. Now we think we're in Paris. La, la, la. It's nice and cool here. The sun's getting really hot around here. It's 26.8 degrees. That's what it said.
Did you see a bank that you like?
Yeah, the Bank of Zagreb is the Zagreb.
Is there one there?
There's one down where we are, Regine.
These two guys are on all the news. They play like jazz, cello. They're very modern. So they're touring and everybody's so excited to play cello and
Cello rap.
not rap, just modern.
One more look at the Coliseum before we catch our bus. Gorgeous.